Did you know that despite decades of progress in democratic systems, research shows that policies still predominantly reflect the interests of those with the highest incomes and social status? What if our biggest untapped resource for solving today's complex problems is simply the voices we haven't yet heard? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fundamental elements of creating sustainable, equitable societies, ensuring that every voice counts in shaping our collective future. Research consistently demonstrates that systems prioritizing diverse representation in decision-making processes lead to more effective governance, fairer resource distribution, and improved outcomes for everyone. It's not just about fairness, it's about building better solutions through the power of inclusive participation. But we face significant obstacles in making this ideal a reality. Current data reveals persistent participation gaps based on age, race, and income, systematically skewing whose interests get prioritized in governance decisions. Beyond voting, representation disparities exist across various civic domains, with traditional systems often amplifying certain voices while minimizing others. The Brookings Institution frames this within a long historical arc toward full democratic participation, suggesting we're still far from realizing democracy's full promise. These barriers manifest through both formal rules and subtle mechanisms that disproportionately affect marginalized communities. From complicated voting requirements to the simple reality that participation requires time and resources many don't have, our systems often unintentionally exclude those whose perspectives could most enrich our collective decision-making. Fortunately, innovative approaches are emerging to bridge these divides. Digital platforms like the Every Voice app aim to provide direct channels between citizens and elected officials, overcoming traditional barriers of geography and time. However, these technological solutions must be carefully designed to address the digital divide rather than reinforcing existing inequalities. Meaningful connection between citizens and governance requires effective mechanisms. The Making All Voices Count program identified the critical need for complete communication loops, channels allowing citizens to provide input alongside government capacity to respond. When effective, such systems foster genuine collaboration, moving beyond simple consultation to actual co-creation. Organizations like One.org demonstrate the power of combining digital action, local activism, and research to create stronger platforms for influence. Similarly, deliberative processes bring diverse citizens together for informed discussion on complex issues, potentially leading to more comprehensive solutions than traditional top-down approaches. Building civic capacity is equally crucial. Individuals need civic literacy, an understanding of how systems work, which groups like the Reform Jewish movement actively work to build. Communities also need organizational infrastructure to support collective action, particularly for historically marginalized groups. This requires long-term investment and overcoming institutional resistance. Consider the powerful example of U-Report in Moldova, which created pathways for youth participation in governance, a demographic traditionally excluded from decision-making tables. By providing accessible digital channels specifically designed for young people's engagement, this initiative transformed how policies affecting youth were developed and implemented. When young people could directly communicate their needs and ideas, policies became more effective and responsive, while simultaneously strengthening democratic institutions by bringing new energy and perspectives into civic processes. This example illustrates a critical insight from the research. Inclusive voice yields multiple reinforcing benefits: more responsive policies, stronger democratic legitimacy, efficient resource allocation, and greater societal cohesion. When systems incorporate diverse voices, particularly from those directly affected by decisions, governance becomes more informed and effective. The evidence convincingly demonstrates that better futures depend significantly on governance systems that incorporate diverse voices. Creating truly inclusive systems requires comprehensive approaches addressing institutional structures, individual capabilities, community infrastructure, and governance cultures that genuinely value diverse input. No single intervention is sufficient. Progress demands coordinated changes across multiple dimensions. The potential rewards: a democracy strengthened by broad participation across all demographics, justify this complex effort. While transformation takes sustained work, every expanded opportunity, responsive reform, and cultural shift validating marginalized perspectives moves us toward governance systems that truly make every voice count. How are you making your voice heard in your community? What barriers have you faced in civic participation? Share your experiences in the comments below.